Hello everyone and welcome to the James Lamont Writing channel. Today we're going to be talking about the worst kind of conservatism. This form of conservatism is as bad or worse than liberalism. We're going to be talking about why it's so bad, the importance of not espousing it, and what you can do as either a writer or a reader to help avoid it, and avoid it becoming the dominant force in the right today. One of my favorite conservative works of fiction is Cormac McCarthy's The Road. The reason why I love it so much and why I see it as so fundamental to the message of conservatism is that the basic message of the book is that regardless of how bad things can get, and things can get very, very bad, it is always worth it to do what's right and live nobly and always do the right thing. And in a way, it's kind of a hope. It gives people hope. It's a book about hope, right? And that as you look to the future, it's always worth it to do noble things, to do great things, to live the life less traveled, right? To do the thing that's right, even though it's hard, and not just do what's ever easiest or most beneficial to your well-being or survival. It's this message that basically is what drives people to go out there and accomplish things, to make families, to continue the next generation, to do epic things, form epic companies, accomplish great tasks of all manner and kind. This is the mentality that drives heroism, okay? It's the thing that makes life worth living, thinking like this. Liberalism often drives people, at least in its modern forms, liberalism often drives people away from thinking like that, because instead the message of the modern world is do what makes you happy, do what gives you pleasure, don't worry about serving others, don't worry about doing great things, don't worry about any of that, just be true to yourself and do whatever you want to do. And so that's how you wind up with people who just waste their lives on drugs, pornography, gambling, anything you can imagine that kind of sucks out your soul is the kind of stuff that modernism is going to encourage. Now, there's one form of conservatism that essentially does the exact same thing that liberalism does, that basically tells you to just not worry about trying to do anything great, don't try to accomplish anything, and just kind of keep your head down. And again, just kind of live for yourself, which is what liberalism's about. This movement within conservatism is called by numerous things. Sometimes it's called the red pill movement, men going their own way, or the black pill movement as well sometimes. It basically posits many things. I guess its pet issue, though, has to do with romance and marriage. That's kind of like its poster child issue. But the attitude covers a lot more than just that. The basic idea of the movement is things suck so bad right now due to liberalism, due to the modernist mindset that has just taken over the world. Things are so bad that it's no longer worth doing anything great because you're not going to get any reward from it. Things aren't going to go well for you. You might as well just, cower in your mom's basement. It's basically, I guess, people who would be conservatives admitting defeat to liberalism is the best way I would say it. I would say it's most evident when it comes to marriage issues. They'll say don't get married. If you get married, she's going to divorce you in 5 years. She's going to run off, take the baby, take the money, take everything. Don't get married. You're just setting yourself up for failure. And if you're just really worried about that particular issue, that's one thing. But you can see where that logic goes if you cover anything. Don't start a business, right? Your business will fail, and you'll lose a crap ton of money. You may have nothing. You may be living out of a van, right, or just on the streets because you put all your money into this company and then it failed. Don't start whatever big project it is that you want to do because the potential for failure is so big, right? They just have this tone you can't take any risks, you can't do anything great. That's the same message as liberalism. It's just that the logic is different, right? The logic of how they get there. The logic of liberalism is just you should always please yourself. These guys' logic is, in general, you should want to do things that benefit society, but at this point, there's no longer any point to it because society's so screwed up, and you're not going to get any benefit out of it. And, I mean, obviously, if you know, you realize that they have the same assumptions that liberals do, that you should only do things that when you're getting some kind of pleasure or good thing out of it. Because again, they say that in theory they're in favor of doing things that benefit society, but only when it benefits you in some way, shape, or form. So it's still coming down to whether or not it gives you pleasure, and you benefit. And so it's still a very materialistic mindset. So whereas in like real conservatism, it's not about the material benefit. It's not about what it gives you. You do great things because that's just the right thing to do, right? And it's always better to do great things than to sit around and be a loser. And so that's the difference. Like in conservatism, you have more respect as a guy who got married, was going to start a big family, had a kid or whatever, and then 5 years later, his wife cheated on him and ran off. It's like at least that guy did something with his life, right? He got dealt a bad hand, so, I mean, that's tough, but, like, he did something, right? Whereas the guy who never got married and just lived by himself, never really did anything great, that guy just is a loser, That's the difference. And it really bugs me that they make marriage their primary issue, because to take their position, you have to be more okay with humanity going extinct than the possibility of you getting raked over the coals in a marriage, okay? They are so concerned about themselves. They would rather humanity go extinct, right? Because that's what no one getting married is, right? No one having kids. You're talking about the end of humanity. They would rather humanity go extinct than a woman take half their money. Like, that is a very high degree of being unwilling to sacrifice anything for the greater good. And that is liberalism, okay? Putting yourself first, that's liberalism, okay? Conservatism, I'm not talking about libertarianism here, okay? Libertarianism is a form of liberalism. If you're a libertarian, you're a liberal to me. I'm not trying to have that discussion. But conservatism is about doing great things, putting God first, doing what's right, doing your duty that has been handed down to you by your ancestors, right? And you're going to hand out to your descendants as long as there is a world to live in, right? This is like carrying the fire from one generation to the next. And having kids is the most basic form of that. I'm not trying to say that everyone has to have kids, okay? In fact, I don't think that everyone should have kids. And I believe there are ways you can contribute to your society without having kids. But at the same time, if you have an ideology that is based on not having kids, then you are either retarded and you don't know where babies come from, or you are more concerned about yourself than you are about your duty to your species. And that's liberalism, okay? You don't care about your ancestors, you don't care about God, you don't care about righteousness, you don't care about truth, you don't care about doing great things. You would rather just sit here and wallow in your misery. And that is not a part of conservatism. That has no place on the right whatsoever. And by the way, I'm not saying that the state of marriage is great today, okay? I'm not even in this video claiming that it's better than they say it is, okay? I do think it's better than Red Pillars say it is, but I'm not even going to make that claim in this video. The difference, though, is if you're a conservative, right, and you're looking at this situation, and if it's as bad as Red Pillars say, you have two options. You can come up with a great idea to try to fix the situation, right? Or in the very least, find a way for you to do your duty, right? Find that one in a million good girl, right? If you believe they're that rare, right? Find that one. Or you can say, okay, it's too hard for me to get married. I think that I can better serve righteousness in some other capacity right now, as a priest or whatever it is, and go that route, okay? But do not just sit on a soapbox complaining about it, and do not start a movement that encourages people to not get married, right? Because at that point, you're looking at an ideology that delights in the end of the human race, and that's not conservatism. Now, in your writing, how do you avoid the red pill mentality? Well, you've got, I guess, the strongest way, if you're actually trying to like make a statement against red pill, is you would write a story set in modern times about a young man who does something great, right? Who maybe starts out as a red pillar, but then he finds out that like life is worth living, right? And it's worth doing great things. On a more broader level, when you write fiction, don't write fiction that's like gratuitously complaining about modern society. Okay, and what I mean by that is don't make the focal point of your novel society sucks so bad right now. Okay, because it does on a lot of levels, but make everything you write constructive. Okay, don't be gratuitous, be constructive. Okay, build up. Don't just tear stuff down. And so, when you're writing, what you want to do is you don't want to write hopeless fiction. Okay, as a conservative right now in today's world, you don't want to be writing hopeless fiction. You don't want to be writing John Steinbeck. Okay, you want to be writing fiction where there is a clear purpose to life, right? And you want to give meaning to life, because that's what people need right now. That's what we need right now. We're in a society that doesn't have purpose, okay? So Christian fiction is a really good way to do that, as long as you write it well and not like cornily, okay? Because corny Christian fiction doesn't give anyone any purpose. It just entertains old ladies and then makes everyone else think lower of Christianity. So you don't want to write corny conservative fiction. You would want to write good conservative fiction. And you don't want to write corny Christian fiction especially. You want to write good Christian fiction. You need to put in extra work if you're writing Christian fiction to make sure that you're not just writing a hallmark Christian story. You are writing a Christian story that like actually has real struggles and real emotions and like real challenges that people overcome, and maybe they don't get what they want at the end of the day, okay, but they still have meaning in life, and they still are content with what they did, right? It doesn't have to be a fairy tale happy ending. Like my novel, okay, A Damn Good Man, which comes out on Amazon in May of 2025, it's a post-apocalyptic novel, okay, that is not a fairy tale happy ending, okay? The main character has a lot of struggles that he has to overcome. And that's all I'll say about it here. But he still, despite all the hardships he has to go through, he still realizes that he's doing the right thing. He's taking the hard option, right? And he carries that flame to the end of the line, no matter what happens. And so that is very important. You have to have a certain kind of resolution in your novel. It can't just be you complaining about the way things are. Okay, you have to have some kind of resolution in your writing. In fact, if you are trying to take up writing and your whole message that you're thinking of is society sucks right now, you need to not write. Because everyone knows society sucks. We're all aware of that. We don't need another person calling that out. Even liberals know something's off right now. What you need to do is you need to propose a solution in your novel, okay? You need to propose something new, something constructive. And that's why I like Christian fiction in the conservative fiction market today. That's why I think Christian conservative fiction is very helpful, because Christianity almost always proposes some kind of solution, right? Even if it's not one that actually makes the problem go away, it's one that at least allows us to have resolution in the face of the problem. So I'm a big fan of Christian fiction. Really hope we get a lot more good Christian fiction coming out soon. We'll see if that occurs or not. I don't think Hallmark fiction is helpful because it kind of just can wind up, like I said, kind of a fairy tale, like wishing your problems away because Jesus, and that's pretty annoying to me. But yeah, that's all I've got. Don't write these wallow in your own misery, weary kind of red pill books just for the sake of complaining, right? I don't even like that in nonfiction, okay? I don't like red pill in general, as I said. Write good, constructive things that help society in some way or another. That's all I got for today. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on X as well. That is the page formerly known as Twitter. And yeah, I mean, if you're interested in my writing, definitely subscribe because all updates are going to be posted here. And again, my novel is A Damn Good Man. That'll be my debut novel. Comes out in May 2025. Thank y'all. God bless and have a good day.